All right, I just got back from the bank grabbing a check for another investment property. Check this out. This right here, I don't know what numbers I'm not supposed to show. Anyways, this is the 25% down on a duplex property. It's actually my first duplex that I'm ever purchasing, which I think I showed a very short clip of it in a real estate hunting video where I was just kind of vlogging and showing everything. But I'm gonna do a full walkthrough on that property, a breakdown of all the expenses, what we're doing, because it is a property where we're gonna do renovations on one side of it. The other side of the duplex already has a tenant in there, so we've got to adjust their rent slightly, get them to commit to a year and go forward with that. But I'm definitely gonna be making a breakdown video showing you guys that whole strategy. But I gotta jump inside, I'm pretty thirsty, and then we gotta talk about the topic on hand. Oh, and by the way, let's take a quick moment right on the other side of that to appreciate the new wrap on the newest eCom season vehicle. This is my buddy Evan's GTR. This is the eCom season wrap. For those of you who haven't seen, we do blue calipers, the blue strip all the way down. And yeah, I mean, it's a matte satin black wrap for any of my car people out there. There's a very slight imprint right here under the hood that just says eCom season, which is pretty fun. So gonna have about, I think, 6 or 7 vehicles total wrapped like this by the start of 2020 in the next 30 days or so. So yeah, that'll be fun. Let's head inside. $130,000 and change with a Shopify store in just 1 week. I want to be here to remind you guys of the principles that we follow when it comes to e-commerce, specifically 3 main things that you can focus on and actionably implement today, as soon as today if you want to, so that you can start getting more results and better results on any sort of e-commerce store that you're running. It doesn't just have to be Shopify, it doesn't just have to be Amazon or WordPress or eBay or whatever it is you're doing. This is just e-commerce as a whole. So first of all, I would love to gauge how many of you guys are actually doing e-commerce. So if you could let me know by dropping a like on the video. Drop a like if you are doing e-commerce, you're trying to get into it or doing anything with the industry. I'm curious how many of you guys are actually taking steps towards making that a reality if you haven't already, okay? So that screenshot I showed, I want to make it very clear, and I feel like I say it all the time, but that is not to brag. Again, at the end of the day, that number is revenue. I do my best to always explain what the profit margin is. I've given the breakdown, and typically you're going to see anywhere from like a 10 to a 45% margin on average, depending on the product, your product cost, the shipping price, all these different things, and of course your ads. You're usually going to fall somewhere between 25 to 30, 33%. That would be the overall average. So for something like this, doing $130,000 in a week, you're talking about $40,000, maybe $45,000 in profit on average, which to have that coming in from just one e-commerce store every single week is definitely nice. So let's go ahead and break down what it would take to get there, a couple of specific things that you can focus on and make sure that you do extremely well so that you can put yourself in the best possible position to succeed. So we've actually got a brand new whiteboard that I can pretty easily maneuver versus the other one. And if you guys can see this right here in my terrible handwriting, emotional attachment. Now, how does emotional attachment actually relate to your e-commerce business? I mean, you're not running something that has to do with interacting with people and their emotions. Wrong, you are. But this is not from a psychology perspective on how to sell your customer, tell a story, and get them to purchase. This is your emotions, okay? So very similar to trading stocks. For an example, you need to be able to cut a loser. You need to know when the time is the correct time to stop allocating your money and your efforts towards a product that might not be working for you. It doesn't even just have to be the product. It could be a specific marketing campaign or a type of marketing you're trying to do, maybe a platform, or it could be the product or the whole website in itself. But the key here, you're trying to determine what's working. And if you're just getting started, you don't know, you don't have proof yet that what you're trying to sell and the way you're trying to sell it is going to work. Because just because something is selling for someone else does not mean that it's guaranteed to sell for you. Nothing's guaranteed when it comes to that. So if it is not working, you should know when to be able to throw in the towel and say, okay, I've spent enough time here. I've spent enough money. Let me just move on to the next thing instead of trying to burn yourself out on just one product or one type of marketing, okay? That is a huge, huge point. You need to be emotionally detached from the situation because you're going to want to be able to fly through this and look at it from a business owner perspective. And I get it might be your baby, it might be the first thing you've done, but you have to remove emotions if you want to ultimately see really good results and do it quickly. All right, now the next point that we are going to focus on is having what's called an evergreen product, okay? This is something that was a really big game changer for me, and I didn't actually learn about it. Nobody shared it with me until about a year and a half after I was already doing e-commerce somewhat successfully. Now, an evergreen product is super simple. It essentially just means that your product is not seasonal or cyclical. So it's not a Valentine's Day product. It's not something that would be like a Halloween mask where you can really only sell it very successfully for a certain part of the year. And it's not necessarily seasonal, okay? It's not seasonal in the sense that it's only for someone during winter. Like, it could be like, for example, a weighted blanket. I know a lot of people sell those. It's a great product. You could definitely sell it all year long, but it's not a perfect example of an evergreen product. For me, and this is a bonus point on top of evergreen, if you can find a product that also solves a problem, that's huge. I love to sell stuff in the health and beauty space, the home space, different furnitures and stuff like weighted blankets can kind of fall in there, but there's a lot of different products. And if you sit down for even just 10 minutes, you would be mind blown at the amount of things that you can brainstorm as different products. Look around, look around your environment, look at different products and try to think of what you could sell, and would they be seasonal, cyclical, and does it solve a problem? That's why a lot of my products do focus on solving a problem, because then you're unlocking something where people need it. They don't just want it. And someone's actually, it's kind of 50-50. People always like to buy what they want, but if someone needs it, they will purchase it. If they're feeling pain and your back posture corrector or something is going to help them correct that pain and help the long-term damage, well, okay, that's going to be something that they'll probably buy. So products like that are definitely huge. You want to make sure you're looking out for those, because this product in itself, from that one screenshot I showed you, it's only one main product we're selling on that website. It's super simple. It's a very basic product, but it does solve a problem. Okay, it's not some secret sauce. It's not a crazy product that I invented. It solves a problem, and we did the marketing correctly, and we'll get into that in a moment. Now, the third and final point I want to bring up inside of here before I give you guys a couple of really important closing points is boom. Okay, you want to make sure that you are positioning your offer correctly. Now, what exactly does that look like? How are you portraying this to your audience? Because overall, your positioning is how you do everything. Now, I know I've said it before where the only thing that really matters is your product and your marketing, and everything else in between is kind of important. And that is true. You can definitely make sales no matter how your setup is, if your website's terrible. But if someone's looking at your product and it's a blurry picture, it has someone else's logo in it, they go to your website, it's hard to navigate. It's not laid out professionally, and the discount seems too good to be true. You marked it up to $300 and now they can get it for free, just pay shipping. Sounds a little bit ridiculous. They might be skeptical that they might not even get the product in the mail if they order it. So take a little bit of time, and the easiest way to do this is to have other people review your website, have other people look at it and give you honest feedback. You don't actually have to tell them it's your website. This is what I did in the beginning. I went to a couple of my friends. I'm like, yo, look at this website I came across. Dude, we should build websites. What do you think this person could improve? How can we make it better? And I just got their honest and raw feedback. And it kind of hurt because my first website was definitely not that good, but try and make it look a little bit more branded, a little bit more professional. Try and look at it from the customer's perspective. Would you trust it? Does it look believable? Are these things and elements high quality? Okay, that is going to be super important because you want to make sure that you're coming off as trustworthy, someone who has existing customers, even if you have none. That's going to overall help you sell a whole lot more products. And finally, the final point, this is the most fun, and this is what directly drove the $130,000 in sales in just a little bit under a week. Actually did about 138, but that is your marketing. Now, marketing essentially is storytelling. Advertising means directly running ads on these specific platforms and getting sales. So those are kind of combined. You can consider it whatever you want, but your marketing and your advertising is what you are going to be actively doing on a daily basis, assuming you didn't hire someone else to do it. So this means Facebook ads, Instagram influencers, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is you're doing to bring in customers, that's your marketing. That's how you're getting these people to come to your website and ideally purchase. So for this store specifically, and most of my businesses, I am running Facebook ads on a very hard level, meaning I go very intense with it. I'm running a lot of stuff. I go hard every single day. That is what I do. That's my primary income stream. That's how we drive our sales for all the e-commerce businesses. So for something like Facebook, for an example, All these things we just mentioned, okay, the super, super key, positioning your offer super, super correctly, making sure that you have no emotional attachment, and then obviously making sure that whatever your product is, ideally it's evergreen, ideally it's something that solves a problem. All of those, if you nail those, great website, great content, perfect product, everything's good, they mean nothing if you don't do the marketing correctly. So that's where it's going to be your daily attention. And setting up something like this business, it's not an easy thing to do. A lot of people jump into this industry and they think they can just make a quick buck and leave. Usually they leave this industry with a loss, which is pretty unfortunate. So make sure that you nail these things and nail the marketing. You have to keep putting in the work, because once you learn it, it does become fun. As nerdy and as weird as it sounds, I like to sit at my desk here or go to my office and I like to work on these ads. It becomes fun. It's a game. You get to look at numbers. Maybe that's just me. I'm pretty OCD and very analytical when it comes to the numbers, but I do have a good time doing it. So, master your marketing. All those things are going to be for nothing if you don't focus on that. But at the end of the day, building something, I lost the thing. There we go. We'll reload it. Doing something like this or whatever numbers you're going to do, it could be your first $500 in sales, or it could be making $5 million in a month. I have a couple of students who are doing over 7 figures a month in revenue, which is huge. Samir is one of them who has one of the craziest margins. He's doing about 45 to 55% in profit on well over $1 million a month. There's huge potential in this, even for people who just got started. He's only 11 months into his career with e-commerce. So it is crazy to see these results. I love being able to assist and share some of these points with you, so you make sure to remember them, nail them down, and as you're building your business through e-commerce, whatever it is you want to do, if you can focus on those 3 key things and that bonus point, you're definitely going to put yourself ahead of the curve, ahead of the competition, and in a much better position to succeed. Okay, so with that being said, make sure that you guys go ahead, take action on this. If you have any questions, if you run into any problems, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to help you out. And if you enjoyed this video, if you got any value at all, I would greatly appreciate it if you smashed the like button, and make sure to subscribe. Help us out, help us reach more people, sending you nothing but positive vibes and wishing you success into the end of the year. All right, with that being said, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.